Welcome back to another episode of QuattroQuattroDos. Once again, this is your boy Cristian, and we're going to talk a little bit about soccer once again, like we do every week. Today, in honor of Copa Libertadores coming back into our world, I decided to wear my beautiful blue and gold Boca jersey, just out of respect for my I don't know. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, so Copa Libertadores is coming back, and I am very excited because not only Copa Libertadores is back, but it seems like obviously the Premier League is back, La Liga is back, and Serie A is about to come back, and basically the soccer world is basically coming back into its normal self, which means that everybody can get excited. All these fantasy leagues can start back up, and then basically everybody just gets to enjoy a little bit of soccer in their life. But of course, since we are a Houston-based soccer podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about the dash. I wasn't able to watch most of the game. I actually just watched the second half of that, so I'm just going to really touch it up real quick, and then we're going to talk about the Dynamo. You can tell I miss my long hair because I'm used to doing this. But then we're going to talk about the Dynamo. There is a bunch of stuff going on in the Dynamo world. So we're going to talk about that. And yeah, so that's going to be it. But before we begin, of course, let me just go ahead and give you my social media just in case if you were wondering where you can find me and or the show. You can find me under or at Cris Putalaz, which is CRIS. Putalaz as in zebra, which I almost just forgot my name. And then if you want to get the show or follow the show, you can follow the show at QuattroQuattroDos, which is QuattroQuattroDos. Hopefully, I've been thinking this week I need to get back into doing some interviews or getting back into talking to some people. So usually back in the day or whenever I did my first interviews, I was able to do those in the daytime because I wasn't working as much, or actually I was on paternity leave. So I had a little bit of free time, but since obviously now I usually work in the mornings and I have the 3 kids that I have to take care of, here and there with my wife, and they don't go to bed till night or about 8 o'clock. So I'm going to actually see if I'm able to set up some interviews for the nighttime, maybe around, which is now, which is 9:30 or so. Hopefully people are still up by then, and then we'll be able to record a couple of different interviews, talk to different people around the city. Like I said, I have a list of people I would love to talk to. So also, if you are a listener and you would like to get on the show or be in the show, or be kind of interviewed in a way, or be part of the show, just I guess a one-day co-host, and we can just talk crap about soccer. We can talk about the Dynamo, we can talk about whatever team you're into. I'll do a little bit of research, and we'll talk about that if you like. So if you're passionate, or if you just got a little bit of free time and you want to hop on, just let me know, and we'll do something like that. So that's my invitation to all my listeners / watchers, because you can also find the show on YouTube. So if you would like to just hang out virtually, I guess, we can do it through a Zoom call. And then we can just hang out and talk about some soccer, talk about some life, if you like, whatever comes to the forefront of the conversation. So let's talk a couple seconds about the dash. I know this is probably not going to be very detailed because, like I said, I only watched the second half. But what I watched was a very entertaining game, a 4-3 game, which the dash actually ended up with 10 men, or I guess you can say 10 women in this case, right? And obviously we are missing probably our I guess you can say our star, or our best player, our captain, Rachel Daly, who is actually playing on a loan, which how they tend to do in women's soccer, or at least here in the Americas. Usually the seasons tend to be a little bit shorter, so since this year has been obviously weird, they had the I was gonna say Champions Cup, the Challenge Cup in Utah early this year, like 2 months ago. And then they're doing the fall series this time around. So, obviously some players went on loan, and even though they got just signed into the team again, or got re-signed, I guess you can say, they went out on loan, and they're playing either in England or in other leagues around the world, right? But it was a very entertaining game. I heard Prince had a really good game. Like I said, I wasn't able to watch a lot of it, but I heard she wrecked it. She killed it. I saw Groom had a pretty good game. Katie Mewis scored a goal, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously she had a good game. But what I was able to watch in which was the second half, was a very hard-fought game. You're playing North Carolina Courage, who is the best team out there basically when it comes to the NWSL. They have a player like Devinia who freaking killed it. And it's kind of hard, to go against a team that has such a talented player, and when they're like fully inspired and charged up, it's kind of hard to kind of make a difference. And even though, the Dash was playing with 10, and because kind of like a dumb foul. Right now I'm blanking on her name, but I can see her face. A dumb foul, like way up high in the field and stuff like that, that kind of led the Dash to end up with 10. But they almost came back, and they almost they fought till the end and almost got that tie. Honestly, they almost got that win, because they went up 3-2 at one point in time. So the Dash pretty close. They're playing here again. I actually forgot to pull that information, but I'll put it on the description below. I didn't forget. It's just that my interwebs is not working correctly, so I wasn't able to get the actual times and stuff like that. But other than that, let me see. Actually, I think it's coming up. Yeah, there it is. Saturday, September 26th. We're playing Orlando Pride, and I think they're also. Is that one here at home? Yeah, so that one's actually going to be here at home at VVVA. And also after that, we play October 4th on a Sunday. We play North Carolina Courage here at home once again. And then we play at Orlando Pride. So those are going to be really good games, because Orlando Pride and North Carolina Courage tend to be the best teams in the NWSL. So it's actually a good not trial, but what is it called? A good challenge for the Dash to be. This one doesn't work here. It doesn't work. But yeah, so it's gonna be a good challenge, a good trial for the Dash to see and prove why they were the Challenge Cup champions. Basically, a 4-3 loss to the North Carolina Courage with 10 on the field was a good, showing of what they have, what kind of talent they have. You can't really say much about that. It was a tough loss, but I think they fought it very, very well. But other than that, that was basically most of the information. I think I already talked about all the signings last week, but a new signing that actually just happened today, the 14th, was the re-signing of midfielder Cece Kaiser, who's also on loan, like I said. I think I can't remember which team she was going to go, if I'm not mistaken. Well, obviously somewhere in Europe. In Norway. Kolborn. Yeah, might as well just kept it at that, right? Because I can't even pronounce it. But yeah, so Cece Kaiser is going to, actually for the remainder of the year, she's going to be in Norway. But obviously when the NWSL kicks back up again, I think we'll have a really, really stacked team. And with this expansion teams actually coming into the NWSL, it's going to be interesting to see also who, because they get to protect about 9-10 players from their full roster. So it's going to be interesting to see who the Dash have in their protected list for this upcoming season. With these all these new teams coming in, it's really good for competition. It's really good to promote, players coming up, and it's also really good because women's soccer tends to gravitate or take players from the college college scene. I guess that's what I was trying to say. And they actually have really good talent from there. So it's gonna be cool to see what girls step up, in the future. Going through college and then seeing how that works out. But a lot of young talent, and then a lot of really talented girls. Like a really, really, really talented. Davinia being one of them. If y'all didn't watch those goals, freaking bombs. But other than that, that's basically all the information on the dash. And then we'll just kind of keep watching and keep seeing how they transform or blossom into this championship team that actually gets not a challenge. A challenge cup was good, but it'll be cool to have come on, dude. Hopefully you guys can't hear that too, but some guy's alarm is going off in the background. But it's gonna be cool to see a couple of stars on top of the crest of the dash crest. So that's gonna be interesting. Going and transitioning into the male side of things for the Houston Soccer. Let's talk about the Dynamo a little bit. I don't have a lot of a breakdown for these two games because, to be 100% honest, the Colorado game, to me, not only I was tired because of work and all that stuff. To me, the Colorado game was very, very boring. Very, very boring. There you go. Trying to pronounce my V's and B's correctly. The Colorado game was kind of like, we went in there with like a second team, about four non-starters that started that game. And Cabrera, Bizama, Sahibo, and Tomas Martinez. Here's a drink of water for Tomas Martinez. And then, so those, and if I'm not believing, Borne Garcia also started, but I'm not 100% sure. I should have checked on that, but oh well, it's too late now. But yeah, to me personally, it was a really, really boring game. We had basically, I was interesting to see what the Dynamo was going to bring in, coming in with a second team, in parentheses or, in quotation marks, to see if they were actually going to play how they played Kansas City and how they play Minnesota. The previous two games, because those two games were almost perfect, like passing wise, coming out the back, moving the ball around. I mean, if you go listen to a previous episode, you hear like all the good things that, if you've been watching, you hear all the good things that Dynamo have been doing in a soccer way, like, passing the ball, moving the ball around, not rushing, kind of opening the field, spreading it out, touching 1-2 touches real quick, just playing very, very, very beautiful soccer. And this game, it was so like funky, like we couldn't have possession. The possession at the end of the game was 66-35 for Colorado. So obviously we didn't even keep the ball. And I think that had a lot to do with the fact that we didn't have Vera, who happens to be like one of our main, like, what do you call them? Like cornerstones kind of the team that holds the ball, that keeps the ball. Also, Quintero's not starting, that another guy that kind of holds the ball a lot and keeps the ball, makes the ball play around. And it was just terrible. It was just pretty bad. Marriage had a good night. He had a bunch of saves that they hit the post twice. It was just kind of like, like we were kind of like trying to end the game in a way. Like, let's just, get here, play the game, try not to lose basically, and just kind of move on to the next. I think everybody was kind of looking over that Colorado game and just looking into that Dallas game, right? At least in my perception, that's how I saw it, and I think that's how it felt for most of us in a way. It just seems like that Colorado game was just like an inconvenience almost into the schedule in a way. But I think honestly, I mean, we got lucky in a way. I mean, obviously, scoring goals sometimes can be lucky, and the play where we scored wasn't a lucky play. It was pretty well played. And shout out to Cristian Ramirez that was able to freaking score and get that all that freaking shit out of him, like symbolically, and I don't know, maybe literally, but he was able to score and get that bad vibes from him. But I think that 1-0 kind of helped us out, in a way, kind of helped us, give us a little edge or a little. I don't know what I can't think of a word, but it just gave us a little plus so that if they were gonna score, which I think basically everybody saw that they were gonna score at any moment, just because of the way that they were pressuring and the way that they were attacking and the way that they were going with all their players and kind of looking for that game, which unfortunately for us came freaking the last minute, like a good old Dynamo fashion. But I think, this is probably not a good thing to say, but I think Colorado deserved a tie, if not a win. And I think we got pretty lucky that we were able to tie that game up and get a point away from Colorado. A way of saying it is that Colorado lost 2 points and we won 1. We should have came out of there probably would have lost, to be honest, just because of the way that they were playing and the way that we were playing. But not always when you play better you win. It's just how soccer goes. And funny enough, we tried to kill that game. We're bringing in Ari Lassiter, Manotas and Quinteros in that second half and try to liquidate. Is that liquidate? I don't know. Liquidar en español. Liquidar el partido, like kill the game off basically with putting our top 3 strikers or attacking players, up top. And basically they were just lost in the game and the freaking cloud and the coldness of Colorado's. They were just lost in the Rockies there. And, it is what it is. They got 25 shots. We got 10 shots. So obviously they wanted it a little bit more than we did, and, they got the tie. And then moving on from there, we moved on into the Dallas game. Another game that was kind of like weird, maybe because it was a derby and it was just kind of like trabado, like, just congested of kind of like emotions in a way. It didn't look as fluid as the Dynamo usually looks, especially thinking that you have like all your 11 starters and you're like, okay, well, we might be able to see a glimpse of that SKC game, that Minnesota game. Let's bring out the good play. Let's bring out the good soccer out. Colorado, yeah, that was let's leave that in the past, but let's just go back to what we know how to do. But unfortunately, we weren't able to find that rhythm, even though we had a little bit more possession than them. We ended up with 53. They ended up with 48, which is almost 50-50 there. We had 16 shots. They had 13 shots, so we were kind of even there. But they got lucky in their second goal. But the first goal, honestly, contender of goal of the year, basically, un golazo from them. I don't know what the name of the guy is, and I really don't care about anything Frisco. So, but you have to admit that the guy just caught a beautiful ball, a beautiful volley in the air, beautiful, like marriage just had to look. There was nothing he can do. And then obviously Memo with a beautiful, and like I even tweeted it out, I was actually holding, I don't know if I was holding my daughter or she was like really close to me, but I saw like when I saw the goal, I kind of yelled out really loud. Very passionate guy when I watch sometimes. Because of the Colorado game, I was falling asleep. That shit was boring. But, against Dallas, I tend to be a little bit more passionate because I hate Dallas in a way. But Memo, when he scored, I scared my whole household. Basically, my kids were not crying, but they were like, "Dad, what the hell are you doing, bro?" In a way. And then Memo, even though he was kind of like the hero because of the goal, then he kind of made a mistake, not getting the ball out of the goddamn box quickly, and they were able to find that second goal over, a little chip over Marriage. Marriage didn't have a hot game on that one, but I think we unfortunately I need to talk to somebody in the Dynamo organization to be able to get into those press conferences after the games, on away games, because obviously on home games I'm there, so I'm able to watch them, or I'm able to ask questions even. But on those away games, I need to get that, I need to get that information. So I'm gonna hit some people up, see if they can do something about it. I need that link, you know what I'm saying? Because I need to know what the hell was the thought process after the game, like what is Tab Ramos looking forward to. Also, they do a press conference the day before the game, so that's also a pretty interesting thing that I actually need to get to, just because I want to see what Tab Ramos has to. Honestly, like Tab Ramos right now is very interesting to me because I've been watching. I saw a documentary. I don't know if you guys seen it on Netflix about Barcelona and like basically that golden era of Barcelona with Pep not starting with Pep Guardiola, but starting with the what do you call people from Netherlands? I don't know, the Hollandeses. I don't know. I don't know what they're called in English, but the guys from the Netherlands, Patrick, I just know his first name, black guy. Jesus, I'm over here choking. Okay, there we go. But yeah, the guy that was right before Pep Guardiola, I believe. So he was basically the one that kind of rearranged or was trying to experiment on that, or bring that gray Barcelona into the forefront, and obviously then Pep Guardiola kind of perfected it. But I'm not gonna say that the Dynamo are playing like Barcelona, because that's just a big statement. But if you actually watch the documentary and you kind of watch those games against SKC, the 2-1 game, in the 3-0 game against Minnesota, you see some similarities in that same style of play, which is very interesting because, that's a big statement right there, saying that the Dynamo are playing somewhat like the golden era Barcelona. But actually, when you look at it, Pep Guardiola had the philosophy of starting from the back, playing from the back, like literally starting from the center backs. And if you look at those games, most of the balls that came from the back, like, goal kicks, they weren't kicks. They were, starting from the back, started with Kiki, started with Figueroa. So it was very interesting. And also that's kind of a style of play that I always love to play. Kind of starting from the back, and even though there's pressure, it just kind of makes you become a better soccer player because you're always kind of like play under pressure because you're obviously starting from like really close to your own goal. But then also you become a little bit more efficient in soccer because you have to learn how to pass, you have to learn how to read the field, you have to learn how to read your opponents and stuff like that. And it's just interesting to see that style of play coming from Tab Ramos. Obviously with Cabrera it was completely different. It was a kind of like, we'll attack and we'll score whenever we get the chance. Basically, we were a counter-attacking team. We were not a team that attacked on their own merits in a way. But yeah, and I think a lot of people wanted to see that against Dallas, and it just wasn't 100% there. But I am very hopeful that these games coming up here in September, or late September, we will be able to see a glimpse of those games. And also, if Tab Ramos, if you're listening to this, we need to see that Dynamo. We need to see that Dynamo, that 3-0 against Minnesota. We need to see that Dynamo against that 2-1 SKC, that 5-2 SKC as well. And, let's do it. Let's get this done. Let's get this damn deal. Like, we're 7th place. We're right now we are in a playoff position, but we gotta stay up there, especially in the West, where some of the teams are very, very strong. But other than that, those are my two game breakdowns kind of way. But funny enough, it's crazy when you think about life nowadays, because like news, like the news cycle is so fast, like everything turns around so quick. Like if you guys, this blows my mind just because I think back in the day it would have been different. I don't know. I'm only 28, but I need to talk to a person that's older. But like, for example, if you think about the beginning of the year, this is obviously, it's not going to be soccer related, but just as an example of how news cycles, kind of turn around very, very fast. If you remember, in the beginning of the year, the United States was about to go to war with Iran, which kind of would have started a World War III in a way, right? I don't know how possible that was going to be, but it seemed very possible. And Twitter was blown up, and the world was blown up in a way, like news-wise. And then from one day to another, like there was no more World War III was gone. Like the news cycle had moved on to the next thing, and then to the next thing, and then to the next thing. But it just blows my mind, because I think if we would have been like in a different time, like older times, I think people would still be talking about that in a way, and maybe not, maybe I'm wrong, but I just think it's crazy how like news kind of like we forget so quick. And this week, like for example, The Athletic came out with some breaking news basically. Also, if you don't have a subscription to The Athletic, I recommend it 300%, because they come out with like some great stuff. But they came out with some breaking news that they had heard, there was rumors or whatever, that the Dynamo were planning on, or not the Dynamo, but Gabriel Brenner, the majority owner of the Houston Dynamo Dash organization, that sounds weird, was thinking about selling his stock or whatever, his portion of the teams. And it's just crazy because we talked about it for like 1-2 days, and then just kind of moved on. But I've been thinking about that a lot, just because of not only the sell part, but because it also, part of the information that had came out was the rebranding and possible name change, possible color change, possible rebrand of like the shield, I guess, the what do you call it, the crest of the team and stuff like that. And it's just, it just kind of stayed in my mind, because I started thinking about, like, for example, if you Google, like for example, myself, I'm a big Boca fan, as you can tell, and I always, one of my favorite things, is history, and I would always look into the history of Boca, who has 100+ years of history. And when you look at like the jerseys, the colors of the jerseys, and like the crest of the team, like the crest has always been evolving and changing in a way. And it's pretty cool because you see the different crests, and like different eras had different crests, but the colors basically remained the same from like the beginning. In the beginning they played with like black and white cloth, basically, because it was like the 1800s, 1900s, like 1905. That's when the team started. So obviously back in the day, like they didn't have a set like colors, or it wasn't like, obviously the sport was completely different. But then from the beginning of like they started wearing blue and yellow, like they haven't changed since then. And like blue and yellow has become like the synonym of Boca. Like you think of Boca, you think blue and yellow, you think the colors just kind of go together. Like you can't picture Boca being a different color, basically. And you think about all these like crazy, or not crazy things, teams, but like historical teams. Like you think of Manchester United, you think red. You think of Chelsea, you think blue. You think of Manchester City, you think baby blue or light blue. You think of Barcelona, you think of the blue and the grana, whatever that color is. Just say burgundy or whatever that color is. You think of, I don't know, Real Madrid, you think of white, the pristine white jerseys. You think of, I don't know, name a team, and you can think of the color. And the thing that I was saying, and I also tweeted about this, was how the Dynamo, which is basically most people talked about, was how the Dynamo has been identified with the color orange. And yes, it's not like the greatest color out there unless, your favorite color is orange. So shout out to you if your favorite color is orange. Believe it or not, my favorite color is yellow. So it's random. But, people have different tastes or whatever. But the color orange basically is a synonym of Dynamo. And I think Dynamo is such a strong name because when you look around the league and when you look around the world today, everybody's club team, it's like FC or SC or City or United or this, like there's no just como que there's no stuff behind it. It's just like very generic. Like it's like picking out a baby name out of a book, kind of like I was just gonna say something that I would find very offensive, but if your name is Jose, but it's like naming your kid Jose is like in a world of Jose's, you know what I'm saying? Or like, I don't know. But if your name is Jose, nothing against you. I'm just saying your name is very common. Or like, just naming a girl Maria or something like that, like it's just very generic and there's nothing of like, come on. I don't know, like flavor to it in a way. And I think Dynamo, even though there's other teams named Dynamo, is like still very unique. Like we are Houston Dynamo. Like we are just Dynamo. Like we're not United. We're not Houston FC. Like you could literally just say Dynamo. Like you don't even have to say the name of the city. Like everybody knows who we represent, right? Like everybody knows that, and also the dash. Like everybody, that's the cool thing too. Like if you think about like the women's soccer, like the NWSL, none of their teams are FCs. I think, like North Carolina Courage, Orlando Pride, Houston Dash, Sky Blue. Well, Sky Blue FC, I think it is, but it's still a Sky Blue. Like it's not whatever New Jersey or whatever they're from, like the Thorns, like they have original names. It's not like a Nashville FC. It's not like a Minnesota United. It's not LAFC. Like the teams back in the day kind of had a little bit of more thinking, a little bit more like stop naming your teams soccer club, FC or whatever. I don't know, maybe I'm just ranting about that, but I think the true identity of this team or this club are the Houston, the name Houston Dynamo and the color orange. We can add the black and the baby blue or whatever, and I don't care I do care what you do with the crest. I don't want you to like kill it, but I think maybe the crest could be better. Honestly, me personally, like I like tattoos, right? I only have 2 right now. I don't know if you can see them. There's one, there's the other. The name of my kids, I need to actually add a 3rd one because I have 3 kids now. But if you look at the like or crest, it's unique, it's different. Me personally, I don't like the fact that soccer ball like I don't think we need a soccer ball on our crest to identify as a. It's like very 90s crest, and also the word like Dynamo, it just seems too much. I mean, I get it. I like the crest. It's very different and it's very like spaceship-ish. Like the shape-wise, I'm looking at it right now. I think the colors are great. Black and orange are great. Like I love that combination of black and orange. I think it's probably one of the biggest and greatest things we have done. Especially like playing it off with the tequila sunrise, gradient or whatever, the jersey that came out. And also like if you look at the dash, the new white dash jersey, which is fire, because the three stripes basically. But I think they've done a really good job, and I think if we can knock this out of the park, I think the Dynamo, I think the potential of having a great crest is crazy, and I think we should really work hard on that. I think I think everybody has seen how our marketing team, shout out to whoever runs that, and to all the people that do that, like the videographers, the photographers. I think Houston Dynamo has probably one of the best marketing social media teams that has ever been seen in the world of soccer, honestly. So shout out to y'all. Y'all are killing the game, and the whole branding of Holds It Down, just very Houston-ish. Everybody throwing up the H, even players, new players, they're from Lundqvist from Sweden, and you see them throwing up the H. It's just very this is very Houston, and it's good that players are coming into the city and are embracing the culture of the city, that's what makes Houston very unique. If you look at other cities, it's hard to find people that get really identified with their city, because some of them have really good culture, like Atlanta, or you can say maybe an LAFC, or Nashville, because it's known as Music City or whatever. And I know every city kind of has their own little thing, but for example, you look at, not to pick on them, but you look at Dallas. What does Dallas have culture wise? I can't think of anything. Nothing comes to my head. San Jose, nothing comes to my head. Portland, yeah, maybe because they're all progressive and all that stuff, and the wood and the timber and all that, and they're all like that. But you think of Seattle, no, I don't see anything from them. Galaxy, nothing. Not even New York FC, or New York Red Bulls. It doesn't seem to have any flavor to their culture. They don't really apply it, and I think the Houston Dynamo has done a really good job in applying the culture of Houston into the team. But yeah, that's that. Another thing. Whoa, I was just burping there. All right, what a break. Another thing that was really good, or some people like it, some people don't, is that fans are going to be able to attend the next upcoming game, which is the 19th, which is actually this weekend coming up. We're playing Minnesota once again at 7 p.m. It's a Saturday, so it's going to be interesting because, we beat Minnesota 3-0 after the SKC win. So it's going to be really good. It's also going to be a really good trial for Tab Ramos to see if he was able to bring the guys back into their head, after the Colorado tie and after the Dallas loss. So it's going to be a good trial for us. Another thing, also, if you want to sign, go to the game, you have to sign up or some stuff like that. So just look it up, HoustonDynamo.com, and just check it out right there. Make sure, I don't know if they're only doing season ticket holders or not, but just make sure you get it. And obviously, if you're going to go, be responsible. Don't be a dickhead. Wear your mask and all that stuff. Even if you don't like to, just do it for your fellow brother and sister in Dynamo world, I guess. I was going to say in Christ, but, some of you probably won't believe in Christ. Then, to finish it off, I think what has been the biggest news probably in the last couple of days has been that Elis seems to be already kind of out of the team. I'm recording on a Monday, probably going to be out on Tuesday. Some of you will probably see this on a Wednesday or maybe later. But probably by then, Elis will be on his way out of the team. A lot of people have confirmed. Nothing has been confirmed yet from the clubs themselves. But it seems like Boa Vista, I don't know how you say it in Portuguese. A Portuguese team where actually Reggie Cannon actually just got the player from FC Frisco, South Oklahoma, as they pointed out on Twitter. Went out, is going out to, or seems that he's, on his way out to Boa Vista. And the numbers are still not known, but some people say from 5 to 6 million. Some people say really low. So until the information doesn't come out, we won't know what the actual price was. But hopefully we'll be able to get a good amount of money, because at the end of the year, Elis is actually walking out free. So hopefully we'll get some cash. And with that cash, we'll turn around. And we seem to have also the same way that Elis seems to be going to Boa Vista. Bajamich, the Argentinian playing in Instituto, seems to be on his way to Houston. So that's going to be interesting to see. Actually, I tweeted about this today, that if with Elis leaving, hopefully he doesn't leave too much of a gap for, either Bajamich or Ari Lasseter or Hansen, or whoever is going to take his spot has to be as good, or if not better, than what Elis has been to this organization. I think he has been probably one of the best players in the last few years, 3-4 years for the Houston Dynamo. He has been our star, basically. So whoever we bring has to be either the same of, talent, or even better. Obviously, we're striving for better. And, a lot of people haven't seen this kid Vajamich other than his highlights. But hopefully, if we were able to buy him, and a lot of people seem to be very, very excited to have this kid in here. And hopefully he comes in and he does a really good job if we do bring him in. And Elis, mensaje for you, my friend. Thank you very much for all your services. We really appreciate, you have given us a lot of really good memories as Houston Dynamo fans. So we will always be grateful to you. And we wish you all the best. And me personally, I'm very glad you are able to kind of finalize a dream of yours, which was to play in Europe. And, hopefully the best for you. You're still young, so you still have time to kill it. And, I know you probably won't understand this because it's in English, and you're still working on that. Pero te deseamos lo mejor, Elis, and hopefully you represent the MLS and the Houston Dynamo in the best way possible. And also, it's a good thing because the Dynamo team, we still have that, we get that recognition of being a team that, had Elis at one point in time, and we kind of let him fly, open up his wings and fly away to the European teams. But other than that, like I said, Minnesota this weekend. Then a quick turnaround, we go to Chicago on the 23rd. We play at 6:30 as a Wednesday, so it's kind of like a weird time. So instead of watching the news, watch the Dynamo game. And then another quick turnaround, because that weekend on a Saturday, we play Nashville at 2:30. So make sure you don't stay up too late on Friday and wake up. I mean, I don't know if 2:30 is early for you, but I guess if you had a long night, just make sure you watch. Those are going to be interesting games because Chicago and Nashville beat freaking Atlanta like 4-2. Chicago, I'm not 100% sure. I haven't been following Chicago, but they seem like an okay team. But the one I'm interested in is Minnesota, because Minnesota with Bebelo Reynoso, the ex Boca Juniors, he seems to be getting a little bit more playing time, so he's actually getting his feet wet or whatever. So it's gonna be interesting. But other than that, thank you guys very much for listening to another episode of the QuattroQuattroDos podcast. Very, very much. Thank you. I don't know why I did that, but I really appreciate everybody listening. Hopefully you guys are having fun. Hopefully you guys are staying safe and all that stuff. And I'll see you guys at the Dynamo Stadium, BBVA Stadium. If you see me, talk to me. Let's talk. I don't know about what. But also don't forget, if you want to get on the podcast, if you want to be part of this conversation and talk about soccer for about an hour or so, maybe. We can do that, knock that out, and then put it on the YouTubes, and then people can get to see you too, and you can be famous like me. But yeah, QuattroQuattroDos on everything. Well, not everything, but just, a couple things. And see you guys. Have fun. Be safe. And don't drink too much and don't eat too much ice cream, because moderation is key. That's my dad joke of the week. Bye-bye.